Welcome back guys to another Kangen video. Today we're talking about Julius Reinhold, also known as the Monster. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and join the Discord. It will be the pinned comment of today's video. Now I hope you enjoy. So the name of Monster for Julius is this perfect for him. Just look at him, absolute Chadlad monster, the biggest fighter, the strongest physically fighter in all of the Kangen Annihilation tournament. His age is 36, his Kangen wins is 52 and Kangen losses is 1, which happened against Wakatsuki in the Annihilation tournament. He was the affiliated tiger for Toyo Electronic Power Co. during the Kangen Annihilation tournament. He doesn't have a role currently in Omega, as he isn't confirmed to be fighting or even stated to be fighting somewhat for the Kangen side against Purgatory, but he could very well fight for Purgatory, as we've seen in the recent chapter, a very muscly guy that from behind somewhat looks like Julius, but he has hair. It could be him if he just grew like a man bun, but we do not know. It could very possibly be him fighting for Purgatory, but at this point we do not know. His history, 1 week before, there's not much known about Julius. He wasn't really covered that much during the Ashura run. He was kind of left to the side after and during his fight against Wakatsuki, so there's not really much known about him. But from his history, 1 week before the tournament, Julius underwent conditioning that consisted of resisting against the force of an F1 race car pulling in his opposite direction. Julius proved resistant and finished by snapping the chains, causing the driver of the car to crash and die. That's really all we know, and that's he was able to get this size and this strength from pretty much German experiments and extreme amounts of steroids. That's really all we know about his past. We don't know what he did before becoming a fighter, why he wanted to become a fighter. He's really just a monster that was pretty much created to just be a walking thing of destruction. His character as a whole and how he's written to be shown as is meant to be a brute, where he views that power trumps everything in the world and that who has the most power will be the one above others. He also has no issue taking extreme measures, as we saw in the fight against Wakatsuki, as probably the most brutal fight in the whole Kangen Annihilation tournament, with them absolutely just chads going at each other throughout the whole fight. His Ashura debut was chapter 35 and his anime debut is episode 7. His power and abilities are this mainly around his pretty much sheer size and power. He has very highly developed muscles, having taken enough steroids, as I said earlier, to kill the average person by just the amount he takes. His immense muscular structure grants him colossal physical strength, durability and destructive power, as shown when he remained unmoved and even pulled against an F1 car, as we said. His weight is absolutely extreme, hitting over 200 kgs, which is this insanity. His guard can be compared to an iron armor, with just how strong his muscles are and how big he is as a whole. You may think that with all this power he's just going to be a fighting monster brute, but it's actually stated that he's quite intelligent when he's fighting. In order to use his muscles at their full capacity, Julius studies sports psychology, sports medicine, psychology and even physics. His combination of biological knowledge and physics strength makes him an extremely dangerous opponent and one of the top fighters in the Kangen Annihilation tournament. As I mentioned earlier, his fight against Wakatsuki was the most brutal and one of my favorite in the whole tournament. He, as we know, lost the fight against Wakatsuki. I find that the only reason he lost was not because intelligence, not because power, because it stated that he was actually stronger than Wakatsuki, even though Wakatsuki's muscle density was stronger, or more like severe if you want to put it that way. But the only reason he's lost was that his technique was lacking, and that Wakatsuki, with all his training, all his experience, was just able to outplay him, just destroy him with his superb technique and superior training that he had gone through throughout more of his life. As I mentioned, he's only 36 and like he looks like a fucking crazy monster. His nickname, perfect nickname out of all of Kangen, just the Monster. I hope we get to see him more in Kangen Omega, because currently we haven't seen him at all. He's probably won't fight in the Purgatory versus Kangen fight, unless that really is him on the Purgatory side with the silhouette that we saw someone behind that looked around the same size as Julius. If that is him, cool, we get to see him again. If it isn't, oh well, we might see him later on, maybe, I don't know, 100 chapters later or however long the manga is going to be. But in my opinion, I don't think we will see him in the tournament unless that one guy is him. So yep, that's it for Julius Reinhold from Kangen Ashura, Kangen Omega. Hope we get to see him in Omega. Hopefully we do. Not one of my favorite characters, but an interesting one. Hopefully we learn more about him, how he got to the sheer size that he was able to get to. And yep, that's it for today's video. If you haven't already, make sure to join the Discord, as I mentioned at the start of the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out some of my other videos. And yep, that's it guys. Peace.